Okay, hello and welcome to a quick presentation and demonstration about using SimCity 5 as a visualization and planning tool with regards to cities of the future and sustainable water usage. In my honest opinion, this simulator has a huge educational potential. So we're going to have a quick demonstration. So we have our transportation, we have a maglev, we have all sorts of things going on. Here's the water pumping station, bring in the water flows, zoom out. We have a water pumping station and a sewage treatment. We have great big vertical cities in a tower block. This was attempted in the 60s, we've got to learn from that, what went wrong, and how to make high density housing livable in places that people want to live in. In London, at the moment, we have a lot of clearing away of affordable community housing to make way for foreign investment firms and property development. This is a potential problem. So we have our water, bring up the water table. Historically, the hydrology has not been given much of a priority compared to the economics of industry. One of the problems with this is that the industry has been allowed to build near to and affect the local water and aquifers. They have tailings ponds breaches. In South America, their mining practices involve mercury and arsenic, and can cause great problems with drinking water to the point where people have to rely on bottled water. One of the problems we have is that all the industry and technology relies on low-tech extraction methods of energy and minerals, and these can have consequences on people living near them. This has come home to roost with fracking, which in my opinion should not be near highly dense populations and residential areas. It's too much of a risk to the water supply. But SimCity, there's some distinct limitations to this model. Although it has a lot of positive things going for it, some of the limitations are the size of the city, the inability to model real cities with it, which was a great shame. It would be great to model real cities with this software. I think some of the older versions, there's also Ultra Cities as well, Excel, SimCity 2000, which is much more affordable than this. This is full cost. I think it's going for about £20 sterling, and plus the expansion pack, about £10 a year. So if you're looking at multiple seats for students or something, it could be expensive. But it is graphically, visually, audibly a great step on from just 2D graphs, animations, charts. So really brings things to life. With simulation, fidelity and the ability to immerse people into it are important factors. And once you've tried this one, it's a little bit disappointing to have to go back to the old ways. But the limitation is that you've got smaller cities to work with. Terrible shame. Should be able to mod it to have different states, cities on a grid next to each other to simulate a big city. So let's, you've got a decent health care infrastructure, decent police. Sometimes it's easy to forget that the reason the police are there is to stop the nuisance and to enforce laws to stop problems, for example, in highly dense residential areas, if you have nuisance neighbours or industry being a nuisance in terms of noise or any other form of nuisance, it's very difficult to escape from it if you are in an important. I mean, this was partially covered with Judge Dredd megacities, and the latest movie about what happens if one of these gets taken over by a criminal. And in New York they had crack blocks which taken over by criminals, and it's absolutely no good for anyone living anywhere near it. So this can be a problem with density, also increasing risks and problems, consequences of problems. That's the airport. Over here is the garbage dump. Also the recycling trucks going around. Sewage up. There's the sewage diagram. See if we can. It also, some of the limitations is it doesn't allow to zoom out. But this is as far out as I can go, which is not good. I want to go a lot further out. Yeah, that's an unnecessary limitation. I think that's to cover up the fact that the city block size is so small due to the intense graphical nature of it, plus the systems flow stuff that they're doing. It's called Glassbox for the system simulation. So yes, in this city I've got two stations, sewage treatment plants. Okay, there's one of them, and there's the other one over there. I'm not sure, but I think I put the megacities to have their own treatment as well, their own waste treatment. So education is a key to this. If I close this. Basic food hygiene training, as well as boiling water to kill germs, can save millions of lives just through basic education. And at the moment there's some real problems in the Great Lakes in America, and there's this new resilient algae that you cannot kill by boiling. It just makes the toxins worse. So because when it dies it releases more toxin. So that is a real problem. They've had to shut down, if you do a Google Great Lakes and toxic algae, they had to shut down water supply because the algae blooms have reached the city intake. And yes, the limitations are lack of hydro in this model, lack of reservoirs, lack of agriculture. These are key restrictions to this. So it's not perfect by any means, but it's I think it has great potential as a learning resource. Seems to be some traffic problems here. And I have massive investment in electric vehicles, trams. It's pretty dangerous. Don't think. Yeah. So I think let's take imagining things there. So there are definite limitations to the fidelity of this. But yes, maglev, cable cars in the form of skyways, and trams, streetcars, buses. park and ride. Let's whack the speed up. There's various speeds you can go at. Train systems, planes, hot air balloons. You have to use something called control net, which is a little bit nonsense, but for the high tech, some of the high tech stuff, it's their allegory for high tech R&D for your maglev. Managed to create a self-sustaining city in terms of economics by having a processor factory and a TV and electronics factory, which allows enough income to pay for all the costs of the ongoing costs of the police station and hospital and fire and trash collection and recycling. When the recycling then feeds plastic and alloys back into the factories, so it becomes far more efficient. But this is all well and good for light, high tech, which is what everyone seems to aspire to. But there are distinct problems in the fact that the raw materials need to be extracted and shipped with very low margins, and that's somewhere else who have to pay the cost of the low-tech, heavy industry, the extraction and refining. So another city I've built in the past and I've built again is a refinery city where you drill the oil and refine it. Navigation is problematic. It takes quite a lot of practice to try and get the viewpoints you want. What would be very helpful is to make this all a lot more ergonomic and simple to use. You have to hold the mouse down and drag it to move, and page up, page down. And it's very easy to jerk around and lose focus. What would be helpful would be to have a little helicopter camera to fly around to get the shots. Again, it's a recommendation I made in any hurry to implement it. One of the strengths of this simulation game is the need to juggle various different priorities. Economics, education, income, all sorts of things need to manage. Parks to make things nice for people to live in. Transportation is a huge one. And cycling would be good as well. They're really not. It's really missing. Great big cycle lanes would be nice. A nice option. Yeah, the traffic flow is another problem. There's a lot of U-turns that go on. But I think it gives a great sense of a living, although of course it's obviously just a simulation, it's an idea of a living, bustling city.